Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all the viewers and learners in this live interaction of CIET and CRT. I am Renu Bhatt with you all, and you are watching us live on eVidya channel, channel number 11, and apart from this channel, you are with us on our YouTube channels as well, that is NCERT Official and NCERT PMeVIDYA class number 11. And dear learners and viewers, this is English class for 11th standard students, and the topic that we are going to discuss today in this specific session is note making and summarizing. So what exactly is note making and what are the benefits of note making, why we are learning this particular skill if it's a skill, and what are those important points that you need to keep in your mind while making notes. And for this, all those information, we have joined by our expert. So let's meet her. You are Miss Meenu Gupta. You are lecturer English from Directorate of Education, Delhi. Very warm welcome, ma'am. स्वागत है आपका.
Good afternoon.
Very good afternoon, ma'am. And before we start this particular session, let me share some certain informations to all the viewers out there in case you want to know more about this particular chapter or you are interested and keen to know about note making or summarizing. You can reach out to us through our various mediums. We want you to call us on our YouTube, on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Or either you can drop a mail as well. Our email address is dth.class11@ciet.nic.in. And apart from all those mediums, you can connect to us through our YouTube channels as well. Then you have to go to the live chat box and then only you can drop your comment out there. Our expert will be more than happy to answer all your queries and doubts if you have any related to this particular topic, and we want you to participate in huge numbers with all your doubts and queries. So let's quickly start this particular chapter, that is note making and summarizing. And ma'am, at the very beginning of this session, Meenu ma'am, I just wanted to know about the title itself. You have chosen this title, note making and summarizing. Why we are reading and learning about this particular thing? Why not just note making or just summarizing, ma'am?
So it's an interesting question, Renu. The point is, when we look at CBSE syllabus and even NCERT syllabus for class 11th and 12th, the skills that are required for the students of class 11 and 12th, it's note making and then summarizing those notes into a paragraph. That is why I have taken both the topics simultaneously, so that students know that when they're attempting the question in the paper, they have to do both the note making and then write a summary from those notes. So it's a combination of skills, both in general and then from the examination point of view. That is why I have taken both the topics together.
Okay, so that's why our learners they are having this particular topic in simultaneously, note making and summarizing. So ma'am, I'm quite sure our learners want to know more about it. So what exactly is note making, ma'am? What does it mean?
So if we as we use in our general vocabulary, notes is something that is when you look at something or you make a short form of something, that's a note. Right. Something that is important, right? So when we are doing note making, then we have to make sure that So yes, the point is that the note making is just to capture the key ideas of a given content. So even if you have a paragraph, you have a newspaper report, you have an essay, or even in your daily life, if we are doing other subjects also, even if we are doing science or even if we are doing business studies, you have a lot of content to read. So what you do is, you cannot remember everything point by point. So what do? You just note down what is important for you. You arrange it in a logical format so that when you are looking at it again, so that you will just recall that, you look at those points and just recall the whole content. So it's just capturing this whole idea into small points which are important, readable, and logically structured. So it can be from any content, not specifically from the paragraph in the question paper, but even your chapters in daily life, your other subjects in daily life, anything extra reading you are doing, everywhere you can use note making as a skill. So to point out, notes are usually made to record a speech or dictation. And you can, even if you're listening to some important speech, like today, digital mediums are very popular with the students. A lot of students like to study with the help of mobiles or even listening to the content. So even at that moment, you can just put down all the important points, and then you just, one thing that you have to keep in mind is you just write what is given in the content. You do not give your own ideas. Any personal views or any personal ideas are not accepted in note making. Just what is given, you just find the important points, write them down, and it is called note making.
Okay. So ma'am, what are the specific benefits of note making, ma'am? Why we need to learn note making? All the students, I mean.
For the students especially, what happens is, first of all, we know it's a era of information. You have a lot of information that is coming from all the corners around the students, whether it is digital, even newspapers, even from your teachers, your books, your friends. Everybody is giving you a lot of information. But we cannot remember everything at the same time. So what do? We have to prioritize. This is important for me and this is not important for me. So what we do is, whatever is important, we just put it down for ourselves. So these are our notes. So this skill will help you a lot, not just now as a student, but even in your daily life also, in your future also, because once our brain learns to separate what is important and what is not important, this will become a skill or a habit with your brain, and then it will be very handy in future information storage also. So another point is, especially when we are talking about class 11th and 12th students, you are going to appear for CBSE, you are preparing for your future, you are going to appear for a lot of competitive exams. So these notes, they'll keep you alert, first of all. Because when we study, you usually feel like, oh, I'm feeling sleepy. So when you're writing notes simultaneously, you'll stay active, you'll stay alert. Your mind will be there only. Whatever you are doing, your mind will be able to engage with your content, and you'll be able to remember it more for a longer period of time. And also, it helps you rearrange the information in your mind. Because when you're writing it at the same time, once we are reading, we are just using our eyes, okay? And our brain is working, we are reading. But when I am writing at the same time, what am I doing? I am reading also, my hand is also working. By the same time, my mind is also processing the information. So you can decide and highlight the key ideas, identify the important information, indicate the supporting points also at the same time. You can comprehend or understand more. When you are writing notes, you are able to understand more. And when you are writing, another thing is, when you look down at your notes again, what happens is, you'll recall other information, which is probably you have not read at that particular time, but pehle kabhi padha hai, you will also recall that also. And you will be able to put that down also. So it's a lot of additional benefit for the students. So we'll suggest, not just from the examination point of view, but notes should be made in a regular process. Like you do your diary entry. So even if you don't want to write the whole diary, you can just jot down, okay, this is important what happened today. So it will help you remember all the important information.
Right. So ma'am, till now we came to know that notes making are very much important for all these students. So ma'am, here we want to know about the key points or that important points that our students need to keep in their mind while making notes, ma'am. What are those special points?
So the important points that the students need to keep in mind is, first, you have to write a title. When you are writing notes, please write the title. If it is given in the paragraph, you use the same title. And if it is not given, you have to find a title and write it. But the whole sentence could not be a title. You have to write a very short and simple title. Matlab maximum try to keep it like 4 to 5 words, not more than that. Second thing you have to keep in mind, because when there is a paragraph, the students get a big paragraph in class 12th. So there are a lot of information. what the student skill should be, that I can identify this is the main point, and we just keep that in mind. So suppose there is a paragraph upon artificial intelligence. So that paragraph would be having a lot of information about other digital mediums also. But what is important for me? The idea artificial intelligence. So what would be the title of the passage? Artificial intelligence. And we have to make the points later, keeping that title in mind only. Another thing you have to keep in mind is you should be able to filter this is important and this is not important. So even if you drop some information in note making, it is absolutely fine. We need not put everything in the notes. The idea of notes is just important points. So even if you miss some information, it's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. Be very brief, clear and specific. You have to use a proper format, which we will discuss later in this PPT only. Do not leave any extra space so that somebody who is reading your notes doesn't get confused and you do not lose your marks. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that we do not have to give our own ideas in the notes, which we just mentioned also. Just write down what is given in the paragraph in the paper. Or even if you are practicing at home, whatever is given in this content, जिसका आप notes बना रहे हैं, just stick to that. Do not give your own ideas in that. Next point is you just do not read the paragraph once. Please at least read the paragraph twice. Because first reading will only help you to identify the main idea. So when you are making notes, just do one reading, use those extra 15 minutes for that reading that you have in the exams, and then identify or underline the main points. And when you are writing the notes, you have to arrange those points into 3 to 4 paragraphs or 3 to 4 ideas and then write. We'll discuss it with the help of examples also. Another thing is we leave all the extra information when we are writing notes, like articles, demonstrators, determiners, prepositions, conjunction. We leave everything when we are writing notes. That is how you make it short, right? And use of abbreviations is a must. What is abbreviation? A short form. So for example, I'm talking about government. So rather than writing GOVERNMENT government, I'll write just GOVT. So everybody knows I'm writing about government. So use of abbreviations is necessary.
Right. So ma'am, after all those points, that is very much important to all the viewers. We just wanted to know about the fact that do we have any certain or particular format, ma'am?
Yes, of course. So for note making, when you are writing the notes, especially in the examination, this is the pattern that you have to use. First of all, you write your title or heading, and there is marks for this title and heading. Okay, even if it is asked or not asked, we have to write it.
Okay.
Then after the title, we write the main point. And like for example, artificial intelligence. So probably in the first paragraph, I'll tell what is artificial intelligence. So what would be my first point? Definition. And then in the some points, I'll define what the definition is all about. And probably in the second paragraph, what I'll do is I'll write benefits. And then I write the points 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the benefits. If there is some extra example or some case study given about these benefits, it will become a sub point. So it is just a connection. Important. What is information related to that important point, and if any example or any case study or any extra information is related to that information, that becomes your sub point. That's all. And if you find it a little complicated, the easiest is you stick to main points, subpoint, some point, then again come back to main point, subpoint, subpoint. That's easy.
Okay. So that was about the format, ma'am. What else our student need to keep in their mind?
So as we have pointed out that we have to use abbreviation, but not more than 5. 5 is the limit.
So
And if there is no words that have their own abbreviation that is existing, like for example, I am saying CBSC. So everybody knows what CBSC is.
Right.
Central Board of Secondary Education. Supposedly, if I'm saying UN, United Nations, everybody knows this in abbreviation. So if there is no acceptable abbreviation available in the paragraph, what we do is we make our own abbreviations.
So is it okay, ma'am, if a student make their own abbreviation that does not exist? Is that
yes.
okay?
It is absolutely fine to make their own abbreviation. The only point what we have to keep in mind is that when we are closing those notes, there is a special space that, like in the table you can see on the screen, it shows abbreviation and the word. You have to write the key. So if I'm writing, instead of GOVT, I'm writing GOV, that's okay. That's my abbreviation. But in the key, I have to mention GOV refers to the government.
So somewhere in that particular page, a student...
Key is mandate.
Okay. Ma'am, am I audible? Am I audible to you, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
you
yes.
mean in that particular page that student need to write what he or she meant by that particular word. If he or she write GOV, then he or she have to be specific about that particular word with full form, right?
Yes. So if you are using 4 abbreviation, the key should have those 4 abbreviation and the word it corresponds to.
Okay.
Simple.
Okay. So ma'am, how do we make notes, ma'am? Could you please explain?
Yes, yes. Of course, we'll just take up how we make notes. So first of all, let us know the process. So, it depends on the time you have. So in the exam, you do not have much time. So I'll tell you just to read the paragraph twice. But if you are learning to make notes, twice or thrice reading is good. First time what you do is, you do one reading. You understand this is the main theme or subject of the passage. You underline that. And then you arrange the information that is given in those paragraphs into some major headings. Usually, if it is, suppose it's talking about pollution, what will it have? Definition, merits, demerits, solution. In any generic topic, these are the main headings that we have. Artificial intelligence, what is artificial intelligence? Definition, merits, demerits, road ahead. If I'm talking about my hobby, so what is a hobby? My hobby, other hobbies. So if you talk about any topic would have 2-3 main ideas. So we just arrange the information under those headings. And we need not follow the sequence given in the paragraph. It is absolutely okay to rearrange it till whatever notes you have written are understood by the reader, or in this case, your teacher. So if you are thinking, okay, the paragraph has, okay, this is in the exam, the paragraph has 4 paragraphs. So I have to write 4 only. No, you can do 3 also, till you are able to arrange into relevant heading. Second point is, when you are writing in the notes, you have to write in phrases. Do not write the complete sentence. So how does it become a phrase? You remove article, you remove determiners, you remove conjunctions, you remove prepositions, you remove all extra information, and then it becomes a phrase. Very simple. So So this all we have discussed. Just read, identify the main ideas and the supporting detail. So main ideas become the heading, supporting details become the subpoints. Now what comes is, once you have identified this is my main point, this is my subpoint. If in any case there is some extra information, it becomes subpoint. If not, it is okay. And then we just rearrange it. So when we are arranging it in the format we have just discussed, we have to write in a straight line, 1. So your main points, all the headings should be in a straight line. Subheadings will come under that, and then subpoints under that. So very simple but very sequential format. Another thing you have to keep in mind is, in this format, because we are using a straight format, avoid leaving spaces so that the reader doesn't get confused. Is it the main point? Is it the subpoint? So if we do not give any extra space, it helps to make your reading or notes more understandable and you'll get better marks. And the last is use abbreviations wherever possible or necessary. So minimum 4, maximum 5. That is what.
Yes, ma'am, please continue.
Yes. So this is the numbering, just to help you recall. We had discussed it earlier also. Before this, a title comes, then the main point, subpoint, and subpoint is only written when it is very important. Otherwise, we can leave it. Now, how to make abbreviations? We have discussed that there are some acceptable abbreviations that are used all over the world, like USA. What is USA?
It's United States of America.
Yes, exactly. Everybody knows. Right? Or if I am saying, suppose AI, artificial intelligence, everybody knows it. So these are acceptable abbreviations, which is used all over the world. Then you make your own abbreviation also. So how do we make our own abbreviation? We'll just this, you can have a look. These are some acceptable abbreviations that you can use. Very easy is the first one. That is a universal symbol for and. And students use it also. So you can use symbols also in the exam when you are writing notes. Or even the mathematical symbols like greater than, less than. So I'll suggest students may take a screenshot of this chart so that they can read and just write, so you do not have to make your own abbreviation. These are acceptable abbreviations all over the world. Another way is, if there is no space for acceptable abbreviations, this is what we can do is, we just use the first 3 words. Generally, we use first 3 words of a big word as a abbreviation. Simple. So if like it is given CAPT, even if you write like CAP dot, but you have to write it in the key. CAP means captain. So using first 3 alphabets of a big word also becomes an abbreviation. Another way is, you can just use first word and the last alphabet. First alphabet and the last alphabet of the word. It also is a way of making abbreviations, but it is not very popular nowadays. Earlier it was very, very popular. Usually nowadays what we do is using first 3 alphabets of a word. So it becomes an abbreviation. If you wish, you can have a screenshot and you can read it later. If you want to have any query, you can post it on our YouTube channel. We'll try and answer it. So once the notes are done, you are tired. because you have written so many notes. But don't forget, don't forget, asked or not, you have to write a summary of that notes. So what's a summary is, you just arrange the information you have written in the notes into complete sentences that become a paragraph of around 80 words. So how do you make, like, you don't have to count your words there, na? So how do we understand what is 80 words? So approximately 8 lines. So you have to squeeze all your notes into 8 lines in one paragraph that has complete sentences. It is a summary.
Okay.
Another thing you have to keep in mind, yes, another thing you have to keep in mind is, do not use the words in the paragraph for the summary. Just read your notes and write complete sentences from those notes. That's all. If you use the language from the paragraph, your marks will be cut.
Okay.
Yes. So you just make complete sentences from the notes and then you are sorted. You'll get good marks. Not a problem.
Okay. So ma'am, here can you please explain all this with an example, few example of note making or summary?
Yes.
Please ma'am.
So here we have one passage. What we'll do is, because I suggested you that we have to read the paragraph twice, what we can do is let Renu read one paragraph, then I reread that paragraph and write notes from it. So Renu, can you read the first paragraph, please?
Sure ma'am. So dear learners, the paragraph is, ask anyone who has organized a traditional Indian wedding that the most painstaking task of all is, and the chance of the answer would be the entire process of sending out invitations. First, one has to make 1,000 calls to collect the addresses, write each of them on the card and then courier or post them. In addition to this, there is that special need to be delivered personally, no matter how much time is wasted braving long hours in traffic jam.
So in this first paragraph, what we understand is that it is something about invitations of a wedding.
Right.
But what happens is, this is the twist. What happens is, nowadays, when the paragraphs are written, first paragraph may not have the title theme. So when we are deciding the title theme, we have to make sure that we go through the whole paragraph once. So Renu has read one paragraph, I'll read another. I'm reading the second paragraph now. It is a little wonder that invites or e-invites, as they are popularly called, are catching on with the young and techie these days. They save paper, time and money, can be personalized too to suit the couple. It is also environment friendly. The people can also be non-traditional in the sense that they can send light, amusing messages in the eVites, retaining the main purpose, but this liberty can be taken with handful people who would understand. So from this paragraph, what do you think would be the important point? Renu, can you suggest something? This paragraph is
about the e-invites?
Exactly. So the important point from first paragraph was invitation. Second paragraph is e-invite. So both are different.
Right.
Now which is the main point? Now comes the third paragraph. Let us see. Would you like to read, Renu?
Sure, ma'am. Third one is, paper invites, especially the designer ones, are expensive and can even cost rupees 10,000 per card. For a Delhi industrialist wedding in Dubai, iPad Air tabs were sent out as a special invitees and each reportedly cost rupees 30,000. Access, however, doesn't always impress, no matter how expensive or exotic the invitation. it eventually lands up in the trash.
So what it is talking about is the cons or demerits of using paper invitations.
Right.
Right. So we'll read the next paragraph.
Hmm.
E-invites all have their pros. Pros are benefits.
Hmm.
They are not only easy to create and cheap to make, but also make the process of inviting the guests faster. There are no reports of cards getting lost on the way. However, a few cons cannot be overlooked. They make a wedding feel less normal, can land up in scam, and guests may keep waiting for a physical invite and not send online RSVP. Some couples choose a middle path and send a save the date via email followed by physical invite. So this paragraph talks about benefit also and the demerits also of e-invites. So the whole idea is whether to use paper invitation or to use a e-invite. So what could be our tentative heading? What do you think?
E-invites, ma'am? E-invitations?
Exactly, because the writer is sort of leaning towards e-invite. So he's trying to promote e-invites rather than physical invitation. So let's see the last paragraph. So there are many websites and apps that allow people to create e-invites. Paperless posts offer around 390 free designs. It also lets you use the same design for digital as well as physical invites. Users can play around with fonts and colors of the text as well as the texture and shade of the envelope. And of course, the content is personalized. On desievite.com, one can make e-invites in 10 Indian languages apart from English. This site, which is located in US, has e-invites for a number of Indian festivals and religious events. So the last paragraph seals it that it is talking about e-invites. The writer is promoting e-invites. So our heading becomes e-invites. Exactly. So you can see the question. Question in the paper would be like this only, that you have to make notes, use abbreviations and suitable format, write a title. And remember, even if this line is not given, write a title, you still have to write the title. Right? And then you have to make a summary in around 80 words. So this whole paragraph would be, I think it will carry a weightage of 8 marks in the exam. 5 for the notes and 3 for the summary. So let's do it one by one. First paragraph we have. Ask anyone who has organized a traditional Indian wedding that the most painstaking task of all is, the chances of answer would be entire process of sending out invitation. So it's talking about the most difficult task in weddings. So what could be the heading of this paragraph? The most difficult task, most painstaking task in a wedding. So here you can see there is no preposition, no article written in the main point.
So ma'am, that means a student do not need to write full sentence, right? So he or she can make a headline out of it, like e-invitation. Then he or she can make some bullet points, right? That is also acceptable?
Yes, the bullet point is acceptable, but you don't have to mark bullets. You have to write 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3.
Okay.
You cannot put those dots that bullets you use in usually because that's not a formally accepted format.
Okay. So with a title, then he or she can write 1 and then 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3 if needed.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, please continue.
Yes. So what would be the most painstaking task is sending e-invites. Another would be collecting the
Collect and
addresses.
write the addresses.
Yes. Then you are supposed to courier them, right? Because you cannot send everybody invitation personally. You hardly send 20, 50 invitations that are very close to you. Rest you send by post. And fourth is you have to deliver them
Personally.
So you can see this whole paragraph of approximately 70, 71 words. We have shortened it to hardly 20 words. So this is a notes.
Right.
So should I go ahead?
Sure, ma'am, please.
Okay, so we are on paragraph 2. It is a little wonder that e-bikes, as they are popularly catching on with the young and techie these days, they save paper, time and money and can be personalized to suit the couple. It's also environment friendly. The people can also be non-traditional in the sense they can cite light, amusing messages in the e-bikes, retaining the main purpose, but this liberty can be taken with just a handful of those who can understand. So there could be a couple of titles for this paragraph. One is the viewpoint of the young people, that it will save my time, it will save my money, it will save my paper, I can send personal message. Another could be, if you find it a little complicated, you can just use simple benefits of e-bike. Main heading. So what's our benefits? Saves time, money, paper, personalized content. So these are two options of the same paragraph. So the best part about notes is there is no right and no wrong.
Right.
So if I keep the important points in mind, stick to the format and the basic point that I'm not giving a lot of information in the notes, then everybody can get good marks in the note making section. May I move ahead?
Sure, ma'am.
So now how this is looking like in your exam, if you are writing, first of all, there should be the title. So the title is e-invite
E-invites.
or techie wedding cards. Any title would be good, considering the fact that you have to keep it short and simple first, and it should be the most important point in the paragraph. So we have a title, then first paragraph's notes and second paragraph notes. Here you can see I have not used any sub point. So I have kept it very simple because we are just starting. So in case you also feel that writing sub points will make things difficult for me, then leave it. Use point, main point, sub point, main point, sub point, and you are done. Similarly, these are the notes for the next 3 paragraphs. Do you want me to do it? Renu, do we have time?
Yes, ma'am, we do have time, ma'am.
So, okay, let's do the 3rd paragraph then. So, paper invites, especially the designer ones, are expensive and can cost rupees 10,000 per card. For a Delhi industrialist wedding in Dubai, iPads or AirTabs were sent out as special invites, and each reportedly cost rupees 30,000 excess. However, it does not impress no matter how expensive or exotic the invitation. It will eventually land up in trash. So there are 2 ways of doing these paragraphs. One way we have done is I am taking one paragraph and creating notes out of them. Another way is I can club information. Because paragraph number 3, 4, 5 are talking about either the benefit of e-invite, demerit of e-invite, or demerit of paper invite. So I can club this information.
Okay.
And see. I have clubbed the information of, what's the information? That pros. What is pro? Merit. If you do not want to write pros, you can just write merit of e-invite. What is the merit? Eco-friendly, easy to create, cheap to make, and you can do RSVP. Like you'll just do one click and the message or the invite is sent to hundreds and thousands of people at the same time. Like nowadays, people send invitations for all the Mata Ki Chauki festivals, everything on WhatsApp, don't they?
Yes, ma'am.
Through invite. What is that? That's an e-invite.
Yeah.
One click and you can send it to hundreds of people at the same time. So it says RSVP in a jiffy. Jiffy is quickly.
Ma'am, here let me tell you that we have only 6 more minutes left for the session, ma'am.
Okay, no issues. We can just discuss the demerits, and I'll give them one more example to practice. They can practice on their own also. And if they have any question, they can refer to the key also I have attached. They can just take a screenshot of the key and then they can check with the key.
Right.
Con is, what is the demerit of using e-invite? The wedding might feel less formal. Or you can have, usually nowadays is a lot of online scams are going on. Sometimes people ask money if you're not able to go. Suppose it's my friend's wedding, I cannot go. Might have a link, if you want to pay, please pay on this link. So you might face a cyber fraud.
Right.
So the best part is, if you are receiving any such email or link, please first of all confirm from the source, call your friend and confirm if that person has actually sent you that message asking for money. Right? Even in general life, if you are receiving any link in any message, any email, any WhatsApp, please do not click it directly. Please try to confirm it from the source and then take further actions. So this is the information, and as I had mentioned, you have to use the key. So I have written invite form means formal, PHY is physical, AVAIL is available. So we have to write the key to the abbreviations as well. And summary, please do not forget the summary. We are using the same heading that we have written in the notes, e-invites or techie wedding cards. So now you see, I am just using the information that was there in my notes. So this is my notes and this is my paragraph. In a traditional Indian wedding, most tedious task. See, no painstaking word we have used.
Right.
So avoid using the word from the paragraph. Yes, basic information will remain the same, but do not use the same vocabulary. So most tedious task is sending out the invitations. Yes, Renu.
Ma'am, actually I wanted to know about the words limit for summary, ma'am. What it should be? Is it 100 words or 150 words or 50 words?
No. Only 80 words means 8 lines maximum.
Okay. 80 words for summary.
Yes, 80 words. So generally what happens is it's like plus minus 10. So we, for the students, we usually tell them just write 8 lines.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Okay. As in everything else, here too, technology is catching up with the young and techies. E-invites cost less, consume less, can be personalized too, but these have their pros and cons, making people choose a middle path sometimes. So there are websites and apps available in the market which gives us freedom to create different e-invites in 10 Indian languages. See, I have not written the exact merits and demerits or pros and cons in the summary. It's there in your notes. But you have to write the basic idea of the notes in this summary. So you have to leave some information that is given in the notes in the summary, and it's fine. Should I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is another paragraph on effective speaking. And it's an interesting topic. If you want to just read and practice on your own, you can use this paragraph. It's you can take screenshots, or you can even go back to the YouTube and look at the lesson. And these are the notes. I have given you a key, but you need to practice first, and then you may refer to the key. And this is the summary also I've attached for you, but practice first and cheating later.
Right.
So I'm giving you a cheat code, but please try to practice first. It will help you polish your own skills.
Exactly, ma'am.
And this is something I wanted to show you guys. If you look at CBSE website, they give you samples of good answer sheets.
So
even
I would
in this
request
answer
my team
sheet,
to show that presentation on screen. I would request my team to have that presentation on screen. Can we have that? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please explain, ma'am.
so even if if you can see this, this is some students' answer sheet. And even this, you can see there is not a lot of subpoints that she hasn't made. Title, clearly written.
Waste management.
First main point, then subpoints, and even the sub-points she has just mentioned 2 examples, dengue, chikungunya, that's all. So even if you're not mentioning sub-points, it's fine. Till you are able to write the information clearly for the teacher who is reading the notes. So this I just wanted to show you. If you want to read some papers,
ma'am, we are running very short of time, so at this specific time, we want you to share the most important points to all the students, ma'am.
I'm taking 30 seconds. I'm just telling them, look at CBSE website for more examples.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So,
so just the marking scheme before we close. So your note making would carry weightage of 8 marks, 5 for the notes and 3 for the summary. So in these 5 marks, 1 mark is for the title, 1 mark is the format, the numbering, 1, 1.1, 1.1.1. So 1 is for the numbering, then 1 is for the key, for the abbreviation that we use.
So, ma'am, is that possible? Is that possibility of having no key abbreviations in that particular passage?
Then you make your own abbreviation.
Okay.
Make 4 abbreviations. From big words, shorten them, it becomes an abbreviation.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
And 2 are for the notes itself. So this is 5. And in the 3 summary part, 3 marks, 2 marks are from the content. That means that you are using the information that is given in the notes. And 1 marks is how you write those notes in a proper format.
Okay.
So this is from my side. I'm handing over to Renu if you have any query.
So, ma'am, we don't have any query, although we have received one question about note making, and I'm quite sure our viewer Kali, you would have get a full idea about the note making and how about what you should do in summary as well. And thank you so very much, Meenu ma'am, for being with us and for this informative session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. And thank you so very much, dear learners and viewers. It's time for me to wrap up this session, but let me tell you that we have another session lined up for you, and the session is for biology's 11th 12th standard students, and the topic is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So be with us on eVidya channel and on our YouTube channels for more informative session. Me Renu Bhatt is taking your leave. Namaskar.